I'm here in the middle of 12 Bens, the mountains of Connemara, and behind me is a residence that I've wanted to stay in for quite some time. Ballynahinch Castle, built in 1754, is now a luxury hotel with an incredible story and, even better, a world-class art collection. Mr. Lally, we're only in the front hall and already there's something here that's jumping out at me. What is this?
Well, Michael, this fireplace, apart from myself, is the oldest thing in the house, and it dates, if you look closely at the tiles there, 1613. And I often think of the people that have passed by this fireplace in the last 250 years and come in that hall door as well, and the great parties and soirees that happened here over the years.
So Des, it seems to me that there is a wonder and a story behind that wonder in every corner.
Well, yeah, and this is a great corner boy here, Michael, Richard Martin, who was the head man in this house, you know, but is well known for getting the Parliamentary Act for the prevention of cruelty to animals through the English Parliament. And it was kind of not very popular in those days, but it shows the character of the man.
Certainly ahead of his time.
Very much so, Michael.
So Des, yet another grand fireplace in another great room.
It is indeed, Michael. Beautiful fireplace, quarried locally in a place called Ballynahinch on Connemara Marble, and is original to the house here.
You've got another story that sounds pretty interesting to me. I'd like to hear more about it.
Well, yeah, when I worked here many years ago, a young waitress, she was a girl here from Kerry, and she came in to me and she said, I met a man out in the garden who told me all about the flowers and the plants, and he gave me all the names. And I said, oh sure, that was Gerard the gardener. No, she said, it wasn't Gerard the gardener, it was a very strange looking man. And I said, how do you mean? Well, she said he wore a long grey coat down to his feet, and he wore a very strange collar. And I said, what kind of collar? Kind of like a wing collar here, and a tie. I said, that's very strange. I said, I think those things went out years ago. But she said he was a very nice man, and I felt very comfortable. So I did a bit of investigation afterwards, and I asked Ger, the old gardener, and I described this figure, and he said, that was Morby, M-O-R-B-Y, who was a Scottish gardener in Ballynahinch, and who had died here around 1930. And his body was taken from the garden on an old door, and he was brought over to the graveyard and buried. Now, he was Scottish, and people said that the fact that he wasn't buried in Scotland, his spirit wasn't at peace. But I asked the girl again, I said, were you frightened or were you scared? Mary was her name. She said, no, she said, it was the most beautiful experience I had. He told me the names of the flowers, and I'll never forget them.
So the moral is, for me, not to walk out into the garden tonight.
Well, you could, and you'd never know who you'd meet, you know. But it will be a happy ghost, I guarantee you that in Ballynahinch. There are happy ghosts here.
The marble in that fireplace didn't have to go far from where it was quarried here, just up the road from the castle. But the distinctive Irish green has found its way all over the world, taken home as souvenirs, worn as fine jewellery, and used as an ornate building material. Once muddy marine sediment in an ancient shallow sea that was here some 400 million years ago, the forces that shaped the rugged Atlantic coast also transformed that muck into layers of limestone and finally marble, compressing it at a high pressure and temperatures over 1000 degrees Fahrenheit into the beautiful layers seen today. The striking patterns found within the stone are each unique to their formation, and tiny crystals of minerals like serpentine are what gives Connemara Marble its characteristic green colour. A perfect match for the 40 shades of green to be seen in the landscape in which it was found. Connemara Marble has been named the National Gemstone of the Emerald Isle. Appropriate given that it can't be found anywhere else in the world. A real gem.
Back up at Ballynahinch, we've got a little time to look around before the evening's entertainment starts.
You know, one of my favourite things about the castle is the incredible art collection that this castle holds. Included are some of my favourite Irish painters like Gerard Dillon, Louis Le Brocq, and my absolute favourite, Jack Yates.